Welcome to another episode of Watch Me Do Family History with Chris Knudsen. Today we are going to do some descendancy work, or let's say you have a pretty full tree and you think all your work is done, but really you're never done. So I have a pretty full tree here and we're going to spend some time looking for new people to add to the tree. And the way I like to do that is I like to look at my fan chart. So over here we have the family tree and we're looking at the fan chart view. We also have the option of looking at landscape view, portrait view, fan chart view, or descendancy view. But we're looking at the fan chart view. And what I like to do is I like to find one of my ancestors and in the 1700s or so, and then I come back forward looking for children without spouses, and then I do research and see if I can find the spouses of those children. So let's get started. So here we are with me, Christopher Knudsen, and I'm just going to start with my ancestor over here to the right, and we're going to click on Elizabeth Jane Carroll. I'm going to click on her fan chart, and let's go up here into the 1700s, and I think I'm going to pick James Edward Job. So if we pick James Edward Job, we see his ancestry goes back a little bit on his dad's side, not really much on his mom's side. And let's now look at the descendancy view. So I'm going to click on the fan chart button here, and I'm going to choose descendancy view. So here now we have James Edward Job married to Margaret Peggy Stone, and they had several children that continue to descend. And a lot of times it's easier to keep going back down the tree in descendancy view until you see something interesting. So I'm going to pick let's pick David C. Job here. So we're going to pick David C. Job. And he married a Valencia Sanders, and they had several children. And let's pick the first child, Mary Margaret Job. Come back down even further. And she married Henry Alexander Piper. And lots of marriages here. Let's pick Mary Alice Molly Piper. And she married somebody named Elias Monroe Wilhite. Okay, now we've got several children here without spouses. And let's pick the first one, Ray Wilhite. So he has a death date. So that's possible that since we have a death date, he didn't have a spouse. So actually, let's continue down and let's pick Dolly Wilhite instead. So I'm going to click on Dolly Wilhite, and I want to keep the descendancy tree here, so I'm going to right-click on the person page button here. So I'm going to right-click on there, and we're going to open this link in a new tab. Then I'm going to click on that new tab. And here we're looking at Dolly Wilhite, and she was born in July 1898 in Cole County, Missouri. We have no death date, no burial date, no spouse, and there's three sources. Let's go ahead and look at those three sources. So those three sources are census records. Dolly Wilhite living in the house of his or her father, Elias. So it looks like he changes every once in a while from Elijah to Elias. Okay, we're going to click on the details page again. So we're going back here. Now let's go ahead and do some searching. And let's click on Ancestry. I kind of like the research algorithm better from Ancestry. So we know she's in the 1900 census, 1910 census, and 1920 census, living with her family. So let's go ahead and click on the 1920 census here. And we're clicking on this not to look at the census, but to look at the suggested records that come up from Ancestry. So the first record that comes up is Dolly Lister, U.S. Find a Grave Index. So Ancestry has already made the leap saying that she did get married, and her married name is Dolly Lister. And she's in the 1930 census under as Dolly W. Lister. The W could stand for Wilhite. We have the 1910 census, the 1900 census, another 1940 census for Dolly Lister, and a Missouri death certificate. So let's look at that death certificate. So the reason why you would want to look at for a death certificate is it would show you her husband's name and her parents' name, and that links her as a primary source, would link her husband with her while she's also linked with her parents. Okay, so looking at this, it doesn't show a lot of information, so we're going to have to look at the actual image. Death certificates usually list spouse and parents. Let's blow this up here a little bit. Okay, so here we have name of deceased, Dolly Lister. It says she's married. Her birthday is July 28th, 1897. She's a housewife. And her father's name is Elias Wilhite, and mother's name is Mary Alice Wilbetta. I wonder why that is. So if we go back to Dolly White, the tab right before, and we scroll down and look at her family. Elias Monroe Wilhite, Mary Alice. I wonder why it says Wilbetta instead of Piper. Either way, we know that this is the right parents. And her birth was off by 1 year, July 1898 instead of July 1897. So I'm going to assume that this is the right person, and we're going to let's see who her husband is. Name of husband, Ellis R. Lister, and he was the informant, Ellis R. Lister. So let's go ahead and enter Ellis R. Lister as her spouse. So I'm going to scroll down here, add spouse, Ellis R. Lister, and he is deceased. We're going to click next. So there was no match found for an Ellis R. Lister, so we're going to create this person. And just because there was no match found, it's probably because we didn't enter enough details in. It's possible that Ellis R. Lister is actually on Family Search already, and we need to fill his information in more so we can see if we can find his duplicate that's already on the tree. Or maybe he's not already on the tree. So let's go ahead and add more records to Dolly Wilhite. So let's go back up here to Family Search. So now we're doing the search through Family Search. We have Dolly Wilhite, a 1920 census, 1910 census, 1900 census, and then it kind of gets all lost. So let's change her last name to Lister and see what we can find. See if we can find that 1930 census. So we're changing the last name to Lister, and we're going to click the search button. Okay. So here we have a Find a Grave record listing her birth date and her death date and her burial in Elston, Cole County, Missouri. Here we have her in the 1940 census with Ellis Lister, and the 1930 census with Ellis R. Lister. And here we have a daughter, so that's even better. So let's go ahead and add that record. So Dolly W. Lister, we're going to go ahead and click Attach to Family Tree. And we're going to click Add, Attach. Now, LSR Lister, we're going to compare. Now we have the birth date and state of birth, place of birth for Ellis. We're going to add that. And we're also going to add the residence in 1930. And we're going to attach this record to him as a source. And we're going to go ahead and add the daughter, Nina Lister. This just makes Dolly Lister's record more full when you add children and things like that. Chances are Nina Lister is dead, so we're going to try to find. I'm going to find her death record. So we're going to go ahead and add her. And the reason why I think she's dead is because she's old. Now, I don't know this. I might have to come back and change it, but she might be alive. So I need to do the research to make sure that she has passed away. Create new person. Click Add the residence from 1930 and attach. Okay, so we've attached that record. Now let's go ahead and hit the back arrow and see if we can attach more records from Family Search. Let's add that Find a Grave record. So we're going to click Attach to Family Tree. So now we're adding the death date. So we're going to add that and the burial date and place. And we're going to click Attach. Okay. Now let's hit the back arrow again. And let's hit the back arrow again. So now we're looking at the Family Search records again. Let's go ahead and add the 1940 census. Actually, let me scroll down here and see what else there is. Okay, so there's a United States Social Security Death Index record. Okay, so let's go ahead and add the 1940 census record. So we're going to add the residence, and this also says that she was living in rural Cole County, Missouri in 1935. And click Attach. And let's click the back arrow again. And the back arrow again. So we could have closed the tab and hit search on Family Search again, but I think it's easier just to go back. So here we are, Dolly M. Lister. And is this the same person? Let's compare. So this is 19th of March, 1896. Death date 10th of November, 1991. So this is not the same person, because my Dolly Wilhite died in 1951, not 1991. And the M is off. And it doesn't have any location, so this could be somebody that lived in the United States anywhere. So I'm going to say not a match. Wrong death date. So that'll take us out of there. Okay, so we've gone through most of the records there for Dolly Wilhite. And let's just go ahead and flush out Ellis R. Lister a little better so that we know if he was on the tree somewhere already. So Ellis R. looks like it stands for Raymond. I'm going to go ahead and add that. So Family Search already gives us a couple of let's click on this one because it's going to have the death date. Review and attach. Okay, so here we are. Died in 1979. Let's make sure this is the right one by. So this shows that somebody else is already on Family Search. Let's go to this Find a Grave record and see what it has. Ellis was born in Cole County, son of Lewis and Frances Clickenberg Lister. On July 9th, 1952, he married at Vancouver, British Columbia to Marjorie Pearl Tupper, who died. He attended schools at Elston and Jefferson City and was a member of the 43 years. Okay, that stops there. Okay, it lists 2 wives, and it looks like his second marriage occurred in 1952 after the death of Molly Wilhite Lister. So Molly is listed there, so this is the correct person. But whoever created the information was probably a descendant of the second wife, Marjorie P. Tupper. So if we go back to this source, and this Ellis Lister, let's click on that. So what we want to do is we want to, yeah, so they don't even have the first wife. Ellis Lister, let's click on his ID number and hit copy ID. And then we're going to go back to 2 tabs here to my Ellis Lister. And we're going to scroll down and we're going to click on merge by ID. So we have the ID of the real Ellis Lister. We're going to click continue. So let's compare. We have 3 May 1902, death date, Marjorie Tupper, we have his parents. So this is going to add his second wife and his parents and his siblings and his death date. So since that's the better one, we're going to switch. You always want the surviving person to be on the right to have more information. So we just barely created this new Ellis Raymond Lister, so he doesn't have very much information. So we're just going to swap that. So the one we're keeping is the older Ellis, the one that was created more recently, or more not so recently. And we're going to hit yes, continue. And I like having the middle name, so we're going to replace that so we have a better, fuller name. We're not going to change any of that. All the family information is being added over to the right. And it looks like we're done. So we're going to hit continue. And reason for the merge. Explain why you think this merge is correct. And I like how it has these paragraphs you can add. Most vital information in relationships match. Some details contain minor conflicts. All vital information in relationships match. Most vital information in relationships match. No details conflict. I'm going to pick this one because really we have no conflicting details. Just both of them have different information. Okay, so we added that. And we're going to click Finish Merge. So this is how it normally works. A lot of times you'll add a new spouse, and once you flush out the information a little better, you find out that they already existed on the family tree. But now you have a fuller tree. You have a descendant from this couple. They previously were not listed together, so we'll be able to have this fuller tree, and we know that they had a daughter, Nina Lister, and her descendants will be glad to see that they have their tree now is on Family Search. So we're going to go ahead and stop there. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them in the comments section below. If you'd like to see more videos like this, you can subscribe to my YouTube channel, Watch Me Do Family History. Click the subscribe button. And if you'd like to see, if you liked this video, please click the like button. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you again next time.